Hello students, here we start our statistics paper 1 for semester 2. The name of the paper is that Applied Methods of Statistics. Applied Methods of Statistics, and the chapter 1 here, chapter 1 is that correlation. Now this thing we have to learn for ungrouped data. For ungrouped data. Now actually what we have to learn here we study relationship between two or more variables. What is this correlation? It is relationship between two or more variables. Now what are the examples for that? So example, I can say height and weight of a person, income and expenditure, price and supply, height and weight of a person, income and expenditure. Etc. I can say etc. As I say, price and supply also one of the example for that. Now before going towards this correlation, what does this exactly, what are the methods to determine them, those methods in this paper we have to learn. So before going towards that, here as we have to find the relation between two or more variables, so for that two variable data should be given to us, and that type of data is known as bivariate data. So let's see the definition of bivariate data. Bivariate data, this definition we have to see. What does this definition? The set of n pairs, of observation on two variables. As I say, this is a set of n pair of observation of two variables are called bivariate data. Bivariate data. Example for this, as we see further previously, the same thing. I can say height of sun and height of his father in several families. Second example, price and demand of a commodity in a market on several days. Let me give one more example. Here, density of population, and death rate in several cities. Now here, these are two different variables: height of a son, height of his father, price and demand of commodity. Okay, density of population and death rate, these are different things. So if such a observations we will collect, that type of data is known as a bivariate data. Now let's go for the definition of correlation. Correlation is a statistical technique which measures and analyzes the degree or extent, we can say degree or extent to which two variables fluctuate with reference to one another. Or let me give one more definition, or we can say the interdependence amongst variables is called correlation. Interdependence amongst variables is called correlation, which can be ascertained by studying the joint variation of the two variables. In the data. For example, age and blood pressure. There is a relation between these two things. We will see this thing in our family also. Height of son and that of his father. Sales and expenditure made on advertising by a company for different years. These are various examples for this. Now here I want to give two notes on correlation. Note: correlation doesn't indicate a cause and effect relationship. We can say this is one of the demerit of it. Correlation does not indicate a cause. It doesn't give us a reason behind it. A cause and effect relationship. Effect of a relationship. Again, one more note: correlation must be studied. It must be studied between two logically related variables. Two logically related variables. Two logically related variables. Now, further, let's see the types of correlation. Depending on the direction of changes, correlation is classified into three types. Basically two types, but one more type will be there. Now, as we see here, degree or the extent to which the two variables fluctuate. So according to that, the direction of changes when we plot them on a graph. So according to that, there are two types. Okay, types of correlation. So as I say, depending on the direction of changes, correlation is classified in two types. First, positive correlation. Positive correlation is same as, in short, we can say, if there will be a direct proportion in those variables. Direct proportion in these two variables, then there will be a positive correlation. There will be an increasing graph is there. Second, negative correlation. Obviously, here there is inverse proportion between them. And one more is what? So, two or three we can say. One more, there will be a zero correlation. Why zero correlation? There is no relationship between them. Okay, it is neither in direct proportion nor in inverse proportion. Zero correlation. So let's see the definitions of them. First, positive correlation. Positive correlation. What does the definition? If the value of the two concerned variables change in the same direction. Direct proportion is same as the changes occur in same direction. If one increases, other also increases. If one decreases, other also decreases. Or in direct proportion. Another one, negative correlation. In the same way we can define this. The correlation is negative. Correlation is negative or inverse, we can say, or inverse if the two concerned variables change in opposite direction. Okay. Third, zero correlation. What is zero correlation? When the variations of two quantities are such that an increase or decrease in either one is associated with sometime an increase sometimes a decrease or sometime no change. At all. sometime it is increase, sometime it is decrease, or sometime there will be no change at all in the other. In this case, there will be no relation between them, that is a zero relation. Then there is no relationship or the no correlation. No correlation between them. For example, height of a group of students and their marks in mathematics. There is no relation between height and marks in mathematics. Height of a student and students and their marks in mathematics. Their marks in mathematics. So here this is the introductory part I have been given. Bivariate data, correlation and its types. Now let me give one small example on this type of correlation. The question can be asked as, what type of correlation do you expect in this situation? What the situation is given? The speed of a car and distance required to stop the car after applying brakes. Now, many of you drive the vehicle, so you know these things. If the speed of car increases, the distance required to stop the car is also increases. How does we have to stop? By applying brakes here. So what type of means, as the speed increases, distance also increases. If the speed is decreases, distance also decreases. So which type of correlation is here? Positive correlation. Such a small example may be asked there on these types of correlation. So if direct proportion, positive correlation; inverse proportion, negative correlation; and if there is no relation, then zero correlation is there. So now here we will stop for this introductory video. In next video we will see the methods of studying correlation.